This is Grace Notes. I'm Alan Button, and our guest today is Ken Wasley. Ken is the founder and executive director of Children of Fallen Heroes, based here in North Carolina. Well, Ken, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I greatly appreciate the opportunity and the blessing to share our mission.
Well, we thought here at the station that it would be appropriate to have you in particularly this week because of Memorial Day coming up on Monday. Very appropriate. Children of Fallen Heroes and Memorial Day, they go together.
Yeah, they do. You know, it's a very special time for us, remembering all those that served. We have a saying that freedom is not free. So we take a lot of pride in all those that have paved the way for us.
Well, tell me, Ken, what you do with the organization.
Well, what we do is we provide immediate needs and support for surviving spouses and children of fallen heroes. It's important to us to do that because during these times and so forth, these families serve too just as well. So that's one of the main things that we do through the different programs that we have.
When you say immediate needs, what does that mean, immediate?
Well, the immediate needs might be everything from the fact that they might need an airplane ticket, they might need assistance with the grieving process, financials, and the struggles with the children and so forth, and getting life in order. It's a traumatic time for them.
So I assume then that you're dealing primarily with, well, as you say, first responders, spouses and children, and military spouses and children of those who have died in the line of duty generally?
Well, it normally would be the line of duty, but we feel that if they're serving, they're serving. So, we've had instances where we've had a police officer that might have passed from cancer. We take that into consideration. I mean, they've served. We want to make sure that we give back.
So it's the people who are left behind that are your focus.
It is. They are our focus. We always say that for us, we can send children to camps and so forth and different things. But if the foundation at home with that surviving spouse, whether it be male or female, we have to take that into consideration too. It has struggles. They might be depressed, they might be alcohol, it might be drugs or whatever. So we try to build a program where the two can go somewhere. We'll separate the two and then bring back the two together to build some harmony back and focus to the family foundation.
You are describing what you do using the word we. Tell us what you do personally. I understand that it's the organization you're talking about. What do you do personally?
I personally spend the time doing all the marketing, building the websites, putting together videos, all the graphics, and building the relationships with all of our sponsors. That's my main job. My main focus is to bring in revenue so that we can perpetuate what we're doing.
You serve as the executive director, so understandably you're in many ways the face of the organization and the one who establishes and maintains those relationships. Is that right?
Yes, sir, it is. And it's important to me. Some of these relationships that we have go back 40 years. So they were there for me when I was a kid. So,
how long has the organization been in existence?
I started the organization in December of 2015, filed for my nonprofit. 2016, we spent a lot of time just heavily marketing and getting the word out and building the relationships. We were voted 2016 Great Nonprofit of the Year, and we won it back-to-back on 2017.
Oh, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit later more about what motivates you personally, but before we do that, tell us about this first song that you've identified as significant to you. This is My Country.
This is My Country.
With the 82nd Airborne Chorus.
Well, it means a lot to me because of the fact that my father, before going into military, fell in love with skydiving and aviation and was in the ROTC. And he went in and was part of the 82nd Airborne. So growing up as a military kid and watching those C-130s flying over and being able to see them exit is a very special moment for me. So I take a lot of pride in growing up a military brat and a long life family member of the Airborne community.
Well, this song, in fact, has some history of its own. Composed in 1940, the lyrics by Don Ray and music by Al Jacobs, it was first recorded in 1942 by Fred Waring and his Pennsylvanians. It has since become a very significant part of, as you know, Ken, the 82nd Airborne All-American Chorus. And I've been in attendance at programs where the chorus has sung this song. Let's hear it. This is My Country by the 82nd Airborne All-American Chorus.
This is my country, land of my birth. This to have and to hold.
That was the 82nd Airborne All-American Chorus with This Is My Country. If you're just joining us, this is Grace Notes, and our guest today is Ken Wasley. Ken is the founder and executive director of an organization called Children of Fallen Heroes. Ken, I said a few minutes ago that I wanted to have you tell us a little bit more about how you got involved personally, what motivated you. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
I've always been motivated. My mom was always a giver, always working for Rotary and giving back to cancer and different things like that. And I had the opportunity about 6 years ago in Santa Cruz, where I was introduced by Brent Edwards, a retired Marine, to a program called Operation Surf. And we would bring in combat injured troops from Brooke Medical Hospital, double amputees, triple amputees, and so forth. And we'd spend 1 week with them surfing. It's just an amazing program, to see them smile again. And it's the next step before they would go back home to their families. So that's something that carried over. And then I saw one of my friends, Mr. Mike Elliott, who runs the All-Veteran Parachute Team, also known as the All-Veteran Group. People might know him as he's the one that jumped President Bush 3 times. And I had the opportunity to be with him on the 90th.
That tandem jump.
That tandem jump, yeah. You might have seen the picture, we call the famous picture the kiss of him and Barbara kissing. I took that photo, and that is one of my biggest prizes in life. I mean, the jump was great and all, but capturing that kiss, a man that has been with a wife for 74 years is absolutely inspirational, much less he's a veteran.
And, of course, very timely with Barbara's recent death.
Yeah, it's sad. She was very witty, kind.
Spoke her mind.
Oh, my goodness, she definitely spoke her mind.
But a great example of so many good things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she was the heart of that family. I mean, I had the opportunity to be with just the family, the immediate family. All the other special guests, there was only like maybe 50 or so. They were completely on the other side of the parking lot to where we were landing. So to spend time with the entire family was a blessing, just an unbelievable experience.
For sure. You mentioned adaptive surfing. Before we came into the studio, you were telling me about one individual in particular. Is that something that you can tell us a little bit about?
Absolutely. I met up with a gentleman named Eric Lund, and Eric was a double arm amputee just below his shoulders. He could not feed himself, different things, but he ended up being one of the best surfers that was out there. And I always kind of share this story. We were in the hotel room that night, and his prosthetic arms, they just kind of hang down, and I slapped him high five, and he kind of looked at me strange, and I looked at him back, and I'm like, what? I'm not going to treat you any different. You're a better surfer than I am. And we all just started laughing. And that night, I sat there and I said, in this lifetime, you're going to have arms again. The technology is here. So the 3 of us sat around that whole night, and I walked down the beach, and I remember praying. I was like, veterans, they can lose their legs and everything, but to lose your arms and not to be able to feed yourself, dress yourself in different things, that is a struggle. Please, let's get him some arms. Well, about 4 or 5 months ago, John Hopkins called him. He's the second recipient of a double arm transplant. He is doing phenomenally well. They're not being rejected. He's going through therapy, and now he's moved on to Walter Reed. And he also had the gentleman that was also the first recipient who has full dexterity and movement of his fingers.
Boy, that's amazing.
It is. I can't wait. He's looking forward to day to golfing. So to hear him talk about stuff like that through his mom, through these updates, is just, you can't put words to it.
Let me have you go back a little bit further in your life history, if you would. Parachuting has been a huge part of your life for, I guess, all of it. Tell us about that and your dad.
I call myself a drop zone baby. My dad was a skydiver, fell in love with it in the early 60s, was on the 7th Army parachute team there and traveling around competing against Russia and other countries, bringing goodwill as goodwill ambassadors for the United States. And then later on, he went on and made the Golden Knights, the U.S. Army Golden Knights parachute team right here in our hometown of Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
And I expect many of our listeners have seen the Golden Knights in action.
I'm sure they have, especially here in North Carolina, the black and gold. We see them everywhere.
Well, I assume that the name of the organization that you had Children of Fallen Heroes has something special and personal about it to you. Tell us about that.
It does. In 1973, the Golden Knights, actually that morning, my dad came into my room and said, Dad's going on TDY, which is another thing for I'm going on a mission. And I said that, what you got to do, son? You got to be the man of the house and take care of your mama and your sister. That was the last I saw of him. Later on that afternoon, the news broke out, and it was Walter Cronkite. I remember seeing him on the thing. And there was an aviation accident in Silcope, North Carolina, along with my father and 13 other brothers that went down in a plane crash. And so going through life, I made struggles and made some bad decisions and so forth, as most teenagers and stuff like that do. But I was able to prevail and come through and come up with this program, and we put this together in honor of those men and my father.
Very good. That happened March 8th, 1973.
Yes, sir.
You have talked about the adaptive surfing that you've been involved with, and of course talking about your dad's exhortation to you to be the man of the house. It seems like a lot of your life has been about assisting others, and of course you, I'm sure, like me, have needed others along the way. You've identified another song that's got that theme, Lean on Me by Bill Withers. How does that fit here?
It couldn't fit any better. It's a song that resonates when I was little, and lean on me. That's what we're all here to do. We should be able to count on one another.
Interestingly, Withers recorded that song when he was 32. He had been in the U.S. Navy for 9 years, and he actually worked in a factory afterwards making parts for airplanes.
Wow. I did not know that. There's some good... I'd never do that.
Another remarkable connection with what we're talking about. Let's hear the song, Lean on Me by Bill Withers. That was Bill Withers with Lean on Me. This is Grace Notes. I'm Alan Button, and our guest today is Ken Wasley. Ken, you've told us about what you've done and how things got started with Children of Fallen Heroes. Tell us where it's headed, what you've got in store.
Well, we've got a really bright future here. One of our main things that we're doing right now is that our goal is to build a retreat center here in North Carolina, which will have an area for them, like equestrian center area. It'll have gun range, zip lines, fishing, vegetable gardens, little place housings for them where they can get their therapy, as well as a place for us to do some of the tandem skydivings and stuff programs that we do. And that's our main goal. It's on our site. So we're excited about that. We have quite a few people that have stepped forward that are going to help us on this mission.
Very good. We'll look forward to hearing more about that. You mentioned to me something about a therapy program or approach that you've got in place or in the works. Tell us more about that.
Well, one of the programs that we have is the Skydiving Angels program. And it's an amazing program because of the fact that we use what we do, that we love to do, that I've been doing my whole life, and that is to introduce people into the world of skydiving. We've jumped double amputees, quads, Gold Star family members, and so forth. And what we found is that you have to be 18 years of age to jump out of a plane. But what about all the little kids? So we're able to take them into the wind tunnel. And the great thing about all of this is that over in Rayford, our home drop zone, which was founded by Gene Thacker, a former Golden Knight that was on the team with my dad. I grew up on that drop zone, is now owned by the D'Annunzio family, who was also a Golden Knight. So we've got Greg Windmiller, world champion Cheryl Stearns, all these people that have helped collaborate. And he also owns the wind tunnel, Mr. D'Annunzio does. And what we found is that we brought in an adaptive veteran into the program. He was a double leg amputee, and he went in with the kids. And what was so amazing is that he was scared to kind of go in there because he wasn't sure what to expect. The kids were scared because they'd never done it before. And all of a sudden they see this double amputee flying in the air, and they are like, wow, he can do it. I can do it. And he gets out of the wind tunnel, and then he's slapping high five all the kids. The kids go in there, they're pumped up. And so it just became an inspiration. So I'm watching him walking with a boy, down and they're talking, and he's like, no, you inspired me. And the kid's like, no, you inspired me. And they're high-fiving each other. And he came up to me and he goes, Ken, I really found my calling. And I go, well, what's that? And he goes, I really want to do this. He goes, I found a way, a purpose, how I can serve my fallen brother's children. And at that moment, I was like, that's it. There's the program. We're going to rewrite our whole program, and we're going to invite not just adaptive veterans, police officers, fire department guys, to become the mentor for the children. And we just think that we've got an outpouring of support. So we're excited about that part of our program.
What a terrific collaboration.
It really is.
And what a great thing for the kids.
Oh man, if you could see their faces. I mean, the way that they lit up, to see them smile and to laugh again and so forth is priceless.
I'd like to back up, if I could, a little bit, Ken, back up in terms of talking about sort of foundational premises here for what you do and your organization. What is it, would you say, about America that is worth dying for or sacrificing limbs for? And that's what you're all about.
It boils down to family. We're all family. And I get emotional about it because of the fact that these guys are out here, and women are out there protecting us 24/7, 365 days a year for our freedoms. And I know that a lot of people don't understand freedom in a context of if you've never lived anywhere outside of the country where you see the things that they're not allowed to have and the things that we're allowed to have. And the thing is, our foundation is built on that in America. We are one of the luckiest countries on the planet. And I think it's time for us as a country to get back together and stand together, stop this division stuff that's going on, and become one. We should always be inspiring people to be somebody that is slanderous about our country and our freedom and stuff like that. You know what? You're allowed to do that. That's what freedom's all about. Yes, you can get upset about it and so forth, but those people need to know that freedom's not free. People have given up their lives for us in this country to be able to do those type of things. And so that's where I stand, my heart stands. I'm there for them. They're there for me. So that's one of the most humbling things that I've been a part of along this journey. Meeting all of these veterans that have been injured and that are suffering with PTSD and different things like that. We need to start educating. And that's why this Children of Fallen Heroes is so important to me and about our country is we want to get back because the children are our future. We need to start educating.
If people want more information about Children of Fallen Heroes, where can they go to get it?
They can find us online at childrenoffallenheroes.org. Real easy to find. We're right up on there, and we're also on Facebook too, just as well, under Children of Fallen Heroes.
childrenoffallenheroes.org.
Yes, sir.
Well, what you've just described fits in beautifully as an introduction to this third song that you've identified, God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. As you well know, the refrain is, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me. It turns out, as I guess you're aware, that Greenwood was motivated, according to the way he puts it, by an interest in saying something, singing something about unity in America. And the immediate impetus for his writing of the song was the downing by the Soviet Union of Korean Air Flight 007 in 1983. Speaking of things in the air, a flight from New York to Seoul by way of Anchorage. Ken, it's been a treat to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We look forward to hearing more about what you and Children of Fallen Heroes is involved with down the road. Let's hear the song, God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood. You've been listening to Grace Notes, a special program here on Life 103.1 featuring people who may be relatively unknown